We go around. Mike Monahan.
Here.
Justin Fortney. Kathy Cordes. Dan Newton. H.C. Patel.
Here.
Verla Raines.
Here.
Jeremy Maker.
Here.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Stephen Gintling. And Cheryl Paget. Okay. And then I'm Andrea Post. This is Heath Shelton. We have some guests with us today. We have Chris Neal, Todd Barton, and Lee Leary. All right. Call this meeting to order. Do we have, I think we'll have public comment. I think we'll have comments on the different agenda items, and I will introduce you to speak during that item. Does that work for you guys?
Sure.
Okay, great. All right. Our first order of business, if you notice, we have a new member amongst us, Jeremy Maker. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, first of all, it's great to be a part of this. I was raised right here in Guthrie, but then I left for a good while and entered education, and now I'm back. And so I wanted to get involved in my hometown. I'm actually teaching in Oklahoma City at a middle school, computer science, but I'm living obviously right here. Otherwise, I couldn't be a part of the board. But anyway, that's a little bit about me. I'm married with 4 children, and they're at home doing something.
Yeah.
And I'm here.
All right, thank you. I think our first order of business then is to appoint a chairperson. Since James Long is the one whose term retired, we are lacking a chair and a vice chair, and the ordinance that creates this board says that we're to appoint one. So, do we have any nominations from the board?
I nominate Mike. Is that right?
Any other nominations?
Don't jump, HC.
I was just gonna pass it to next month, but that's fine.
Yeah, do
When
we?
there's more people here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are more people next
Yeah,
month.
we've got quite a few.
Do we wanna table chair and vice chair? I mean, we have a nomination, but I know we can do some
I'd
discussion.
love to do it for the next year.
Okay, go for it.
I mean, I'd love
So,
to do
I
it.
mean, we
I'll
have a
second it.
quorum.
I'll
We
second
can-
it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're in.
I'm in.
It's unanimous by
Since
the
you're
second.
staff, you bet.
So vice chairperson. Do we want to table that?
Wait till next
Have a-
Table it.
Okay.
I believe.
All in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes of September 18th, 2017.
You want me to take it now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
would you like to?
Yeah.
Thank you. You'd be sitting right here next
You
time.
could take the, okay, we have minutes from the September 18th meeting. Has everyone read them? Any questions? Any issues that we missed? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
A motion to approve.
How about a second?
Second. We don't have very many.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Before we go on to some of this other stuff, do we want to get our speakers up here so we don't hang them up?
Yeah, I figured, right now,
We can
Yeah,
skip
okay.
skip the other stuff and go to the speakers.
all right, that's fine.
Who wants to be first? Mr. Neal? Territorial Christmas, who wants to be first? You're both asking for money?
Got all night.
Well, I'll go first.
Yeah, we can
Come on.
let Lenny go first.
Do you mind if I sit at the table?
No,
you
please,
can't.
thank you.
Pick a chair, pick a chair.
Excuse me.
I have your application and materials in that spare packet too.
Okay.
And it's kind of in order by agenda.
Sure. Well, I'm not sure exactly what you need or want to know. My name is Lee Leary. I am this year's chairperson for Guthrie's Territorial Christmas Foundation. I'm a fairly new Guthrie resident. I've been here about 1.5 years, and I joined the foundation committee last fall as a volunteer, and in January they elected me chairperson. So we are we have submitted our annual application for event support for all the different territorial Christmas events. We submitted an application for $10,000, which I realize, one, is a lot of money, and two, is more than we've asked for in the past. But we were specifically asking for the money this year to pay for our advertising expenses. In the past, we have only advertised via print, radio, and social media. Typically spent around $3,000 to $4,000 is what that costs us. Excuse me. And this year, what we were hoping to do is to also do television advertising for the first time. We have we've engaged KFOR, the lady who actually works with Guthrie Escape, to do their television ads for their event each year. And they've given us what they have told us is their best nonprofit quote. And so we're hoping to have funds to be able to do television advertising this year as well. The bid that we have from them is about $6,400, so that supports the $10,000 that we were asking for. Of course, whatever amount we're able to get, we will work with, and we can cut back on the television ads or the print ads. But we right now have enough in our budget, not in our budget, we don't really have a budget. We have enough in our bank account to pay for the lights and the other expenses that we incur for the events.
So when do these ads stop?
Well, depending on how many we can get, if we were able to do what they have quoted us, they would start on November 17th, excuse me, and run through around the 16th of December. That's about a week before opening night and the and the Lighted Christmas Parade. And then that's through the Saturday of the second Victorian Walk evening.
And how long are the ads?
Well, we have two options, and as a committee, as a group, we selected the 15-second options. We can have 30-second spots or 15-second spots. These would be primarily in the morning on KFOR and KAUT, both stations, starting at 5 a.m. to about 9 a.m. and then a little bit around the noon hour. And the 15-second spots would actually buy us 148 spots. And I don't know if you noticed Guthrie Escapes ads this year. I was actually looking for them so I could see what they were like, because they did what we were proposing doing. It's a 15-second spot right before and after the commercial, during the commercial break. And that's what Guthrie Escape did.
Can you say those dates one more time, please? Sorry.
We were hoping to start around November 17th, 17th or 18th, and run it through December 16th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And the different time slots during the day, of course, cost different amounts of money. So this is just a combination of different volumes of spots at different times, really based upon their recommendation of when we might catch the most viewers.
Okay, what other advertising are you looking at?
We were planning to do print advertising like we've done in the past. I'm not the advertising person, but I do have what we did last year. We advertise in the Oklahoman, the Wichita Eagle Friday Weekly, the Guthrie Newsleader, Guthrie News Page, the LC Courier, Tinker Takeoff, Stillwater News Press, and that's what we were able to do last year.
Do you have an estimate for the kind of costs for the print?
We were going to start finalizing the print ads once we knew how much money we had to spend on advertising.
Got it.
Okay. We talked about if we need to this year, we can cut back on print,
Mm-hmm.
in order to do the television, just to, see how effective it's going to be. So we haven't
Okay.
finalized anything, Andrea, but we did talk about bringing this down this year if we're able to do some television.
Okay. Are you able to use the logo or mention City Guthrie Tourism, when you're doing commercials? When the
Well,
commercials are produced?
I would
Because one of
assume if
our
we
re-
have your permission that we can. I don't think KFOR cares
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
what kind of
I
credit
just
we
know
give or
that's
something
one
like
of our
that.
requirements for giving advertising
Sure.
dollars or giving dollars to an organization, we have to be mentioned in advertising.
Okay.
It's part of the requirement of this, so it's one of the
Well,
things
then-
I
well, then
mentioned to
yes.
see if that's possible to produce
Absolutely.
it that way.
Yes.
Or if it's something you already had produced and, you know. if it was-
No,
yeah.
no, we haven't started that yet.
Okay.
We're actually going to, I actually met with Aaron
Oh,
and looked at some of the still shots and the video that he has accumulated, you know,
Mhm.
of the territorial
So are
Christmas in the
are you
past.
producing that in-house then, the commercial in-house?
No, KFOR is producing it, but
Okay.
we were going to utilize the
Video from.
the video that Aaron has, yes.
Okay.
And he's got some really good stuff. I
Yeah.
watched it. He's really
Good
good.
work.
So my question is you got 8,000 last year and you only spent 5 on the trees
Mhm.
and didn't tell the committee about it. So why should we bump you to 10,000 this year?
Well, with all due respect, we did report how we spent all of our funds in our report to the committee that was turned in, let's see,
A couple months ago.
on March 27th, 2017. So yes, we did report it with all due respect. Last year, we received $8,499 in grants and donations, 8,000 of that being from the CVB. And then about $6,200 from the historical homes tours, and then about $7,000 in donations and the territorial governor's race. And we spent the majority of that money on advertising and lighting. $4,233.19 was spent on advertising. $5,000 was for lighting.
But see, our issue was last year was the $8,000 was supposed to go towards just the lighting.
Well, I'm sorry, I did
So,
not know
I
that that
know,
was a
yeah.
requirement of having to spend it exactly the way it was given, so all I can say to that is I apologize for that. I can tell you that the year prior, the lights did cost, where's my budget?
About 7,800.
It was $8,000, and so last year, here it is. Yes, in 2015, the lights cost, actually $7,704. Last year, after we received the money, this is the way I remember it playing out, I was very new to the committee, but last year, after we received the funds, we were able to negotiate a lower price using the same contractor that we had used in the past. We've basically just asked if he could give us a better price, quite frankly. And he was able to do it for $5,000. However, last year it was fewer lights than previous years, and that's one way he was able to give us a lower price. The price we've got from him this year is $6,000, and he's able to add a little bit of the lights back in.
Do you have any plans too for ways, or I know you did a dinner. They talked about moving that to February to increase participation. I'm kind of wondering what other plans or things you're doing to make this event financially sustainable in the future, so you're able to use, instead of coming back and asking for more money, you're able to use less to do more with in the future.
Well, that's a great
Do you have a plan
question.
for that? I
That-
know that's a
that-
long-term
That's a
ongoing
great
thing,
question.
I understand.
I will
but-
tell you, my personal experience being a new citizen of Guthrie is
Uh-huh.
there are a lot of events to support,
Yes.
and a lot of worthwhile events to support. I can't even do everything I would want to. So it is very difficult to raise money, quite frankly. Turnout was very low to this dinner. It was very disappointing, that, the community, doesn't come out and support more than they do. So, we did talk about we had 60 tickets for sale and we sold 32. And so, a lot of, just the expenses alone, it costs to do things like that, and even though we got a lot of stuff donated. But everyone who went to the event really enjoyed it, really
I
enjoyed it.
heard really good feedback.
And so we thought, well, it got good feedback, so if we could try it again and get more participation,
Mhm.
that might be,
Yeah.
an avenue to take. One thing that we're doing this year, different from last year, another one of our fundraising events, although it hasn't raised a lot of money in the past, or at least not the past 2 years, is the territorial governor's race.
Mhm.
And we actually have a new committee member this year, and she had a great idea, which we're doing. I don't know if you've I don't know if you know who all the candidates are, but you need to get out there and start voting, please. So help us raise some money. But we have junior candidates this year for the first time. So we have 3 adult candidates.
2.
2. No,
2 adults.
2. Thank you. I introduced them at Chamber Coffee, but I don't remember, obviously. No, it's Kaylin, you're right. Kaylin, Ben, and 3, that's right. And 3 junior candidates. So that seems to have raised a lot of enthusiasm, you know, from what I've been able to gather and others. So we'll see if that equates to dollars raised, because it is a fundraising event. It's just to put money, you know, back into this bank account. The Historic Homes Tour has always been very successful. But I agree with you that we need to come up with better ways to raise more money. You know, it's disappointing to me, again, I'm a bit of a newcomer, but it's, you know, we also try to get corporate support and corporate sponsors, and that's very challenging and very difficult to do. I actually personally went around last year, one of my first assignments was to go around to buildings, not to buildings, to people and ask for just financial donations. And let's just say I wasn't always met with the most welcoming, you know, welcome, anyway. And then others, you know, gave money, but it was pretty incidental. You know, the largest donation I received from a business was $100, you know. That might be a lot to someone personally, but in my opinion, that's not a lot
Let's go
to
with what
a
your needs
business.
of your event are.
Right.
Because it is a wonderful event. I'm really glad we have it here. You know, it really shows the downtown. It's really a beautiful and fun thing to go to. It was one of the first events I ever came to when I visited Guthrie, so thanks for being.
You know, and you know, it's my understanding that, you know, part of the board's objective is to get people outside of Guthrie to come in to Guthrie. And so my personal opinion as a member of the foundation, because at first I thought, gosh, we spend a lot of money on advertising, you know, just, I mean, it was one of our biggest expenses. But then understanding the objective of, we're trying to, it's not just an event for the community, for the people that live here and enjoy it and would probably come out no matter what, but it's also, you know, try to bring in dollars, you know, to the city, to the merchants and things like that. So I say that to say, you have to advertise to get people to know about the event. Hopefully it's great when they get here, word of mouth, even more people start coming. We're trying something new this year. After the parade on opening night, it's free to the public. It's not free to us, but it's free to the public. And to try to give people something to do after the parade and keep them in town and spending money, you know. We're going to show 2 short Christmas movies outside after the parade, and hopefully we'll have, you know, maybe a hot chocolate, you know, food vendor or kettle corn or things like that. So we're also hoping to have food truck vendors for the first time this year on opening night as well. And I assume you get some benefit from having food truck vendors, but I don't know that for sure. But
are you charging them a space fee for where they're setting up?
we were not planning on it, but I was actually going to talk to you about that, more about, you know, what are my next steps and what do I do next, because I've started to reach out to the vendors. We want to have 4, and we were starting with the local guys first, and then, you know, a few people already have commitments, but I've gotten 2 yeses and a maybe. So anyway.
So where are the movies gonna be?
Well, I knew someone was going to ask me, and I can't remember. I'm not in charge of that, and I was going to call her before I came in, and I was running late. It's downtown here. It's either in a parking lot or with some grassy area. We talked about a few different places. We settled on some place. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly where. I can let you know. But we've got it squared away with the right people who own it. We've found the person who can come and set up. They'll actually put up a screen, I think. And we've got price from him, and then we've found the movies to rent. And it's not a huge amount of money. I think we're estimating it'll cost us maybe about $825. We are trying to get a corporate sponsor for this. We're trying to get a business to sponsor the movie, and we'll let everybody know you sponsored and things like that.
So
but
my other question is, how many people, and this is going to be on our new questionnaire, how many people do you anticipate staying overnight for these things? You know, what's the impact? I mean, are you bringing buses in, or do you have buses coming in? Because this really is about using the tourism dollar, which the only way we generate it is if they stay in the hotels. We don't get any money off sales tax, them eating at the restaurants or anything. City does.
That does yield a public benefit though, you know,
Yeah.
our purpose is to attract tourism here, so.
Well, I
Well,
don't,
Yeah.
it's a benefit for the people of Guthrie.
right,
That's how I look at it.
yeah.
You know, it's an event for the
Yeah,
people of
yeah,
Guthrie.
the
That's
tax
how I look at
dollars
it.
is the event, is does
Yeah.
benefit
Yeah.
the local
And
community.
I agree with that. I just,
So,
I'm real uncomfortable with $10,000 though.
So the Christmas lighting is the Christmas tree plus you do something on the lawn of the post office?
Yes, that's where,
Lights
yeah,
or-
yes, there's the parade first,
Mhm.
down
Right.
Oklahoma Avenue. And then at the end of the parade, then on the post office lawn and up on the steps, then the winner of the territorial governor's race is announced and sworn in. And, we're making improvements to all of that this year.
I'm looking
Then-
for decorations, Christmas.
Oh, no, it's just
You
a
know,
tree.
it's just a tree.
Mhm.
So there's no additional lighting or anything like that?
Not that the foundation has done in the past.
the
no.
city does put up wreaths on the light posts and, the banners, so.
All of
See
the Christmas
banners, so
lights
that's-
on the buildings downtown, is
Are
my
individual.
understanding, are the responsibility of the building owners. So
So-
Yes.
we don't have control over whether those lights are lit or not, and we
Yeah.
try every year to get people to fix them.
So you all make an effort, try to get
We
those
make an
lights?
effort, though,
And where do we stand on that?
uh,
I don't mean to put you,
well, it's my
Well,
understanding,
what
most of the
kind of-
building owners that don't do it are very uncooperative and don't wanna do it. That's my understanding. So,
I would love to see the whole of downtown, all the much.
Well,
I
I'll
would
talk
too.
about that when we
And-
get to
and you
Christmas
know,
lights
okay.
later.
And
because
a lot of people, well,
that's
a lot of people
community
think the city is
buy-in thing
responsible
versus
for it,
just
or they
the-
think we, the foundation,
you know.
are, because one thing I did last year on the committee was I started calling the local retailers downtown to ask them if they were going to participate in the light windows. Again, some people are very receptive and some people are not. And when I would talk to those people, some of those people didn't realize that the building owners were responsible for the lights and
Just as a
things,
random
it's the city and.
question for information purposes on that, what, did they give any reasons for why they didn't want to be involved with the lighting of the buildings? Just because I'm gonna have to go around and ask, I think.
I did not
You
have
got
those
feedback.
conversations personally.
Okay, well,
This-
I'll
this-
figure it out
This
then.
is what I have
So,
learned, you
yeah.
know, yes,
Okay.
just, like I said, I'm fairly new to the committee.
Understand.
So, but that's one thing that has been discussed in the past, is that, but it is the individual building owner's responsibility. It's my understanding, Andrea, that some of it is a cost issue, because maybe there are some electrical issues that have to be resolved in order for you to be able to have those pretty lights. It's not just as simple as pay somebody to go put up a new strand of lights. I don't think it's that simple, I will
Got
say
it.
that,
Okay,
based upon what I've been told.
all right,
Thank
you. It just, I know I'm gonna
Sure.
get out and hear things, but it's good to have a perspective from somebody who tried it.
HC, you're on
Thank
the
you.
chamber. Does the chamber do anything to help with the downtown or the Victorian Walk, other than the merchants all stay open those 2 nights?
No, we don't.
Okay.
I know who puts the lights around at the post office, but they'll bring it.
Do we have any other?
Well,
Jeremy?
I was
Burl?
gonna say something encouraging, just that, I know a lot more people, it seemed, came to Guthrie Escape this year, and Cherie thought it had something to do with their TV spots that they did.
They
Really?
really had a wonderful response on
Saturday was a big crowd, it brought a lot of people, and by having it in Wichita and Stillwater, like you said, when I've done things with Chamber and things downtown, I always ask where people are from, a lot of people come from those 2 areas.
Well, and I know from 89ers, we did the KFR thing, and we got a lot of positive feedback that they saw the 89ers parade on KFR. So I know they do a bang-up job on when they're brought into it.
For one thing, that people don't subscribe as readily to newspapers like they used to, because everything's online
Correct.
or on the TV.
I would agree with
So
that. I
otherwise
think
we're not hearing
it's a
about it.
less effective,
Mhm.
maybe, way. So,
Okay.
again, we can cut back on that, or we will if we have to. Any more questions for me?
I'm good. Anyone else?
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank
I have a
you
question
very
if I
much.
may.
Okay.
When will the board or the CVB make their decision?
So this on the agenda for tonight.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, so.
Yeah, we're in the new fiscal year now, so we
Okay.
have,
Okay, because we haven't started spending any money
rolled
yet,
over
but we're
the-
going to start spending
Yes,
money soon.
yeah. We
So it's
rolled
like,
over, so I knew I wanted to hold your application until
Great.
we could, so being in the new fiscal year.
Okay,
So that's why we're back.
Okay.
I know it's another round of questions.
okay,
I didn't wanna make you wait longer.
well, thank you.
Right,
Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay, so the agenda says for event support, their request is 10,000. So if I understand it right, we can do anything up to 10,000 or anything we want, but what's the budget say we can do? Because we've never done 10,000, the most we've ever given is 5,000.
Well,
To
actually,
any event, until
last
last
year,
year.
we gave Territorial Christmas 8,000.
Yeah.
We did do that. I know we skipped over the financial
But-
status, but you got the stuff in your
Mhm.
packet for
I
it.
mean, so what's the,
Well, we can do a budget amendment to move things over if we need to later on.
I just-
I didn't break
I
it out
feel-
by event because it was going to be very by this board.
I feel
So
very
it has to be
uncomfortable with
determined.
10, because then I think that's gonna set us some bad precedent
I know.
with future groups coming down the,
Well,
We are setting guidelines, but they aren't in
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
yet, so
We've got
our-
new guidelines. so-
yeah, but those won't be adopted probably until January, so, and we got 3 months out on that, and I've still got a lot of work to do. I know that right now, the total, I think the budget that we were approved for FY18, it was around, I wanna say it was around 21,000 for the
Yeah.
full event support funding
so
that
that'd
we
be
have
half.
for this
Yeah, well,
year, so 10,000 would be half of that.
yeah.
Just numbers on that. But again, there was a lot in conventions and trade shows that we could probably cut back in, and there will be a lot rolled over from this
From
past year.
Previous year, yeah.
Not for event support, but from conventions and trade shows.
And-
So
okay.
we could probably, raise our event support to 25,000 or even closer to 28. I don't have an exact of what we could do, but we can make adjustments as we go along as we need, or even move some marketing dollars if we have to.
So do we have a motion or not, or does,
Well, if you don't feel comfortable with 10,000, what do you think, what you're comfortable?
well,
number?
if she's saying, 5 was my original thought because that's what they spent on the trees, but if she's saying 6
Or 6,400.
for,
6,400.
for her TV advertising, I'm sort of game for that, because I know what it's done to other events. But I guess it would be cognizant on seeing an invoice or do we pay, because we don't have the rule pay half up front and half afterwards.
Correct.
So, I mean,
I can ask for quotes for services. Would it be okay if you shared your quote with us?
Sure, is that what you're asking for?
Mhm. Is that okay?
Well, here's a
Or,
sales slip.
I mean,
dated
even with the,
10/30/2017.
we asked for a receipt in the post-event report
There's the
for things that
receipt.
have been.
It's just post-dated.
so it's 6460
So,
for
But that
Keller.
would leave us no money for
yeah,
print
no
ad.
money.
Well, in all honesty, we can't give you half our budget for event support.
I understand that,
First time
sir.
out of the
All I'm
box. saying
saying is, when you give us this, may I make a request? Because,
Yeah.
I would like the input from my committee, if, whatever amount you're willing to give us. Today, we have enough money in our bank account to pay for the expenses, not including any advertising at all. All right. So, what I would like to ask is that whatever you give us, may we use it for both television and print advertising at our discretion.
Anybody? I don't have an issue
I have no
with
problem
that.
with that.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Then what's the dollar amount, guys?
I could go for 7,000. And I'll give them a little bit more on top of their TV ads. That's the best one.
So is that a motion?
Yes.
So I have a motion for 7,000 to give to Territorial Christmas for advertising.
Which could be TV.
Which can be
or
TV
printing.
or print advertising, and we will get invoices on all of that.
Absolutely.
Let's second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
Okay.
7,000, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for your time and your
Thank you.
consideration and your financial support.
You're welcome.
Thanks for asking.
Vote for territorial governor. You can vote as many times as you'd like and for as many candidates as you'd like.
And you can
Let me
vote
know when the
online.
next dinner is coming up for next year, because I know I had some conflict
You're
with
gonna
the
cook,
last
aren't
one,
you?
but
Aren't you? Yeah,
You're
you're
I
really
really
like,
good
I do,
cook,
I
right?
like cooking.
There you go. You don't
But
volunteer.
I'm not
We
a
might
chef.
be chefs and hosts.
Yeah, see, she's
So
gonna be a
you're
host.
gonna
You
be-
might be sorry you said that,
She's
Andrew.
gonna be a host and a chef.
Big giant house.
Mr. Neal, are you behind me somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Come on,
Thank you very much.
come on up to the hot seat, or stand if you want, I don't care,
Wherever you'd like me.
just so the camera
I
can
gotta be able to
see.
see it.
Don't
Oh.
stand underneath the TV.
Yes. This is Mr. Neal from Rising Stars Calf Roping. Again?
If you don't mind, I'll sit.
No,
no problem.
Since we're the venue.
Okay.
I'm Chris Neal with Rising Stars Calf Roping, coming up next month, end of November, Thanksgiving weekend, at the Lazy E Arena. We're excited and glad to be back. I'm pretty sure everyone has my information. I guess, any questions? You've already looked over it, or would you like me to explain anything, or? I'm not sure how much you.
Now, this is the Thanksgiving weekend one, correct?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, what is the amount required? Is this to pay for hotels?
Yes, sir.
Meals? For the
Strictly hotels.
hotels, okay.
I've actually, since I turned in this application, I've actually figured out that it's gonna cost me more than what I asked for, but so be it.
How many,
It's gonna take 12 to 15 that I'm gonna personally need for my employees, contract labor,
okay,
that I will have to buy.
and is that Guthrie Hotels, I take it?
Correct.
Thousand contestants, 29 states,
Yes, ma'am.
and Canada.
Yes, ma'am.
This is for territorial Christmas.
It probably cost about $5,000. If the rooms are 80 something a night plus tax, 4 nights, 12, 15 rooms, it was, I did the math earlier, it was $50-something $100.
And what did we give you last year?
Last year was the first time that I had asked, and I got 2,000.
No, you've asked it before.
Well,
It's been a couple of times.
yeah, you did 2,000 for the Rising Stars and 2,000 for the Future Stars.
Future Stars, correct.
This
So
is-
it was 4,000 total.
Okay. And I'm trying to find it here. What did we do both events?
Yes.
Okay.
The other one is in the spring of the year in May.
Right.
I think you actually came out, I seen you there.
I did.
Can I say something?
Mhm.
I'm Todd Barton with the Lazy E Arena, for those of you guys that don't know me. But Chris's event, if I could just say a few things about his event and as it relates to Lazy E. Chris's event is the exact type of event that Lazy E strives to bring to Logan County and to Guthrie. Because Chris's event brings in competitors from all over the country, all over the world, other nations. So the tax dollars that are generated from an event like Chris's is all outside money. There's virtually, I can't say no, virtually no local money or no local participation in his event. It's all regional, state, and national. So we as Lazy E, that's the kind of events we're striving to bring in because it brings more incremental revenue to you guys, to hotels. I mean, and I understand that you guys worry about hotels, but we also have to worry about restaurants and Walmart and everything else that generates tax dollars for this area. So,
Yeah.
and to give him a little say, hey, he does a real good job. I mean, his is a national, it's a national event. So that's what we're looking for. And that's the kind of events that we are continually trying to bring in and design. The business model changed for us over the last 3 to 4 years than what you guys might be used to that the Lazy E does. So can talk about that later, but.
I didn't bring the last year's applications, but is your attendance growing?
Yes,
You know, following the events? Okay.
yes, for sure.
If his entries alone are greater from each event, so from the first time you did this last year, the entries have increased through the spring event and then also into this fall event. And they're still coming in, they're still coming in, right?
Yes.
So your first event was spring of 2016, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
think, yes, and
Yeah,
then
correct.
You had one last year, last Thanksgiving, and then one in spring.
This year, in
Yeah,
17,
okay.
yes, yes.
I also say Chris does a really good job of coming to the local Guthrie establishment. Stacy's catered the Thanksgiving dinner out there for him.
And we're doing that again this year. Stacy's gonna
So-
cater our
so
meal.
I know where I'm going for Thanksgiving. I'm just gonna go out there and
Let me tell you,
eat
it
my,
was
awesome. Put a hat on and go to the cantina and just
Yeah.
say, Chris, serve me up a plate here.
Sure.
Get for the hat.
We can take care of that.
I do have a concern,
Okay.
and you know my business. Per se, we are not getting heads in beds from your event. Because last year, even spring, I talked to the other motels, and and I didn't get any, 3 or 4, 5, 6 rooms, that's it. Same with some of the other motels, and I know you used one of the other motels for your contractors. But on the flip side of it, it did bring a lot of business to Guthrie, restaurants and stuff. For the sales tax, it did increase that, but not for the lodging tax. So I don't know where these people are staying. They are not staying in Guthrie.
Do you have a question?
Sure.
And this is just for information,
Sure.
it actually has nothing to do with this, but how do you determine, do you have a rate?
Yes.
That you provide?
I work 24/7 at my place. I know my customer base when they come through the door. I talk to them. Yeah.
Okay, just
And
curious.
I have a Lazy E source code in my system. And I talked to the other managers after the event as well and said, hey, how'd you guys do?
Yeah,
But,
Just
I gotta say, I think, we talked about this, right? And like the restaurants were lined up.
They are.
Those days.
Yeah. They just don't stay in the hotels.
Yeah. That's my only concern.
Are they
It's
saying-
not lodging tax, but it's sales tax.
yeah.
Does go back to the community, which is part
Yes.
of what we're about, so.
I can't argue with you on the rooms, because you know your numbers, it's your
Yeah.
business. I do know the restaurants, just like you said.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had
I
to
can-
stand outside at Staples to get in some of the nights.
Does everybody bring trailers like they do for Little Bridges? Or trailers?
I wouldn't say everybody, but a large majority of them do. So we do get a lot of RV at the Lazy E. But there is, we have vendors that come in as well. We have a trade show,
Yeah.
and all the vendors, they have to stay somewhere because they don't bring trailers to stay in. And then,
You
One of the
got
benefits of a youth event is that they bring grandpas and grandmas.
Yeah.
And moms and dads.
Mhm.
And they stay for
They
long
don't-
periods, 2
Well,
or 3
just like
days.
this weekend with
They don't wanna stay.
mini bulls.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And rough stock's a little different, because they're not hauling horses, so they don't have a lot of trailers to stay in anyway, so that's a little different than Chris's event, because there are some competitors that stay in the trailers.
Right.
But
Any other questions? I don't see how we can go 3, only
Probably
because,
my next question is,
because we haven't,
do you make an application in admin as well?
Yes. But
Well-
I've been putting all of my people in Guthrie in return. That's what you guys asked last time, for me to spend
Yeah.
all the money at hotels specifically. And I mean, I'm willing to spend the full amount in Guthrie. And the majority, from what I can tell, is Guthrie is more associated with the Lazy E, and they're gonna come here to eat and stay and shop and do whatever they're gonna do. And then if my people come here as well, I mean, it just helps generate more money here. And then your logo is on everything. I mean, you're getting $5,000 worth of advertising if you had to pay for it, like my
Yeah,
other sponsors
like your
had to,
sponsors,
because
yeah.
you're on our trailer, you're on our website, you're on the video board, you're on the 1,000 of these that we mailed out, these full-page color ads in every magazine across the country. I mean, Guthrie is getting a lot of advertising. So that's the way I look at it, is I try to give you that as well. So recognition for the city of Guthrie.
questions for Erla? No? Jeremy? No?
No.
This first night, I know,
Yeah.
we're throwing a lot at you.
Yeah. So fiscal year.
Motion, anybody?
My only concern is, it seems the motel's only getting what we're giving you
Yep.
to put back, that's it, so we're just paying ourselves.
If there's no motion, it dies. Sorry, guys.
I can't move, so.
I can't. If they won't make a motion, we can't support it, I'm sorry.
I don't know, I guess I don't.
Unless someone,
I motion we do 2,500.
they gave, and we gave them 2,000 last year.
So, can I ask a quick question?
You can ask any question you want.
On the Chris Neal's calf roping, where it says 4,000, you said that was 2,000 to two different events?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does a spring event, and he does a Thanksgiving event.
And your motion was for?
2,500. They're asking for 3.
I'd second 2,500.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
No, I can't do it. 2 to 2?
2 to 2. So we have no majority.
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Anybody else have any discussion or motion on this?
Is there a motion for less, more? Oh. Okay.
Well, I guess, all I can say is I appreciate your time, and, being that I John Kerry did. You know,
Thank you for
Thanks.
bringing it though. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
thanks for
you're-
doing it. I know.
the event is you're gonna still get all the tax dollars from the city, from the restaurants, like you said that you knew that you got. And so, I don't know, I would think that would be worth something, but I guess I'll spend all my hotel dollars. You know, if I'm not gonna get money to spend in your town, and I'm getting $5,000 from Edmond, I'll probably take my business to Edmond.
I understand. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we have a
Just
lot
being-
smaller budget than
just
Edmond.
being honest
You know,
up front.
that's part of it is, yeah, we've got less to give out this year, we have a lot less to give out this year.
You can't compare us with that.
So,
I'm sorry, you know, they're
we'd
Oh,
love to
a
compete.
giant.
We're not there yet.
Well,
We're not there.
And, oh, I know, and I'm not trying to compare, I mean,
Yeah. But we still appreciate.
even
what
though
you're
they
doing.
were
I know
giving
it's-
me more money, I feel like I was giving Guthrie more business than I'm giving Edmond. You know,
Yeah.
to me, they're the ones losing out because they don't get near the generating of money that you guys get, even though they give, you know what I'm saying? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I feel like y'all are benefiting more than they are. So, but anyway,
Appreciate it, Chris.
yep,
Yeah.
thank y'all.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, can we go up to number 7? Because I think the Lazy E will last longer than the Woodwind one will.
Back
Number
to-
7.
Number
Back up to
seven.
number 7.
Yeah.
Is it, oh, Rob's here, okay.
Because I think he'll be shorter than the Lazy E, I'm just assuming, since we're
Are
gonna
you
talk
gonna
about
stay
sponsor.
for the lazy E?
That's
He
why
is lazy.
That's why he's here.
That's
I
why
know,
he's there.
I know, but
Poor
I'm
man,
just,
I begged him to come and.
Are
it's
you-
Monday, I'm back.
Todd, are you okay with that?
Sure.
Because I'm assuming they're gonna have more questions for you than they are for Rob, so. So.
Come on, Rob.
This is Rob Blackburn, he is the head music instructor, at the, or band director, is it music band? And-
Director of bands or whatever, yeah.
I apologize, I don't have much of a voice.
There's no attachments for this.
No,
Okay. So
No, I
Rob,
didn't-
how
I
can
didn't
we
have the
help you?
information.
Table's yours.
Okay, I'm not sure if it was talked about before, but I mean, we were Guthrie High School Wind Ensemble. We submitted a tape last year to the Oklahoma Music Educators Association convention. They have a committee that meets and selects out of all the groups from the whole state that they send there. They select honor groups from different classes, you know, to be able to represent for the state, you know, at that level, like 1A or 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A. And this year it just so happened that there were a lot of entries from every class, and our band got selected as the 5A honor group. So we're getting what we're doing is we're actually performing on stage at the Performing Arts Center downtown Tulsa on January 19th, 2018. That's this coming January, and it's at the State Music Educators Convention, where all the whole state of music educators go to. It's not only just band, choir, it's also orchestra, elementary music, and all that. So, but they have concerts in the evenings on Thursday night and Friday night of the convention. The convention's week long. It actually starts on. It's not even a full week. It starts on Wednesday and goes through Saturday. And at the end of it, they conclude it with the All-State Honor Band, the actual audition to honor band that's there. So in between times, there's not only just the convention has a lot of clinics that the band directors get to go to, the kids that made the honor band go to rehearsals, and then they have the honor groups come up and perform on Thursday night and Friday night. Thursday night they perform in the convention center, downtown 7th Street, Tulsa, and then on Friday night's the big night where they have usually the bigger groups that are there. We happen to be performing first at 7 p.m. and followed by Broken Arrow High School Wind Ensemble, and then followed by Oklahoma State University's Wind Ensemble. And so it's a huge night, pretty big night, and it's a pretty big honor to be a part of. But what I guess I'm coming to right now is we're looking for any ways to raise money for a program. We're actually looking to put a program together that all the people will get as they come walking in. And I thought it'd be a pretty cool thing because I think Guthrie's a really cool place. I've been here, this is my 14th year here, and I've made it my own. I think it would be really neat to put a little kind of a snippet about Guthrie, you know, and its history and its events, maybe a little bit about their events in there to kind of showcase Guthrie, because it's not only just, we're not just representing our school, but we're representing our community. You know what I mean? So I have some other vendors that I mean, like our Edmund Music is looked at trying to help out with the cost. I don't know how much, we haven't generated a cost yet, but I was looking to maybe ask for, what was it, $100 to help offset the cost of the programs. But at the same time, that $100 will maybe put a little bit of an ad for Guthrie in there, you know, in the program, because everybody, the attendance of this was going to be anywhere. It's the big night, and since OSU and Broken Arrow's coming, they bring a huge group, a huge crowd. And it's not just parents that come, but it's also music educators. I'm going to be honest, I'm super nervous because I get to play. These aren't people these are musicians that are watching our band, but there's going to be anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 or 6,000 people in attendance. I mean, it's a fairly decent event, you know.
So you're just looking to put our logo in there?
Yeah, the logo, yeah, and I was going to put a little snippet about Guthrie and how it used to be the original
We'll mention our
territory.
website. I love that because people can go there and see the events coming up, especially if we have things music related. You know, I'd love to kind of features
I
for
would
that.
say
It's a booklet
Am I
or
speaking too quick?
how many pages is
It's the program for the night.
program?
It's a
How many-
program.
it's
In other words, we open it up, it'll say it's all about the Guthrie High School band.
Like each band that performs has their own program.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
every band
Okay.
has
So when we play,
we print our own programs. So we
Okay.
gotta
they'll get a program about the Guthrie High School band, and he's wanting it to be more about Guthrie than just the band.
Okay.
We'll have a
So-
picture of the kids, we'll list all the kids that are in the ensemble, and then I was thinking, you know, why don't we just talk about our community a
If
little
it's
bit?
more than that, that's fine.
We're gonna approve up to a certain amount, and I know, I've heard the question before, this could come out of our marketing budget, which is, yeah, we have
I-
still money.
Questions?
It sounds great.
Because, I mean,
Do we have,
we're gonna probably print close to 2,000 to 3,000 of these, so the
Okay.
printing cost is
It's
gonna
pretty
be.
high, yeah, pretty high.
Do you, can I send you the logo, and would you mind sending me the copy beforehand? Not for a
You bet.
control perspective, but just so I know
Oh, of
what our
course, yeah.
stuff's going on.
Yeah, and then it's not, we
Okay.
could go as easy as just black and white, pull together,
You're gonna be
staple, but
very tasteful, I know that, but.
Yeah.
Tracy's
I'm
putting it
curious.
together.
HC,
Okay.
what do you got?
Nice.
How much space do we have?
I mean, we could,
Trey, I know when him and, because my wife's laying it out, I know when him and her talked, they're gonna do one whole page on Guthrie.
Okay.
And so they were thinking about doing the logo big at the bottom, and then the whole page would be like the history and different things of Guthrie. So,
Okay, so would you put events in as well?
well, if we're doing the website, we wouldn't need to
Okay.
take up
Yeah, I think
space.
it would be
Yeah.
whatever current.
so
Yeah.
for all events
On
see
our home
there.
page.
Yeah, because I know Tracy's talked with Nathan at the museum to get a good, because I'm sure they already have a write-up about Guthrie, and it'll be pretty accurate because it's been used, it's been checked. And so I know she was gonna get with him to get an about page.
Which I just read.
So what's the ask?
Just the logo on the website.
Huh?
What's the amount?
Just know that we're gonna get a copy.
Well, we haven't, you know, Tracy's waiting on 2 more bids from local printers, so we haven't got a final total of what it's gonna cost yet.
What do you think it will cost?
Well, I know when they first started talking, we weren't looking at so many, and I think for 600, it was right at about $700. And that was partially black and white and partially color, so it makes.
But you're only asking for 100, so you got.
I mean, yeah, I was hoping for at the least, you know, but I mean, I would take as much as you could give me. 'cause
Well, I
have
motion
it.
$200.
I second
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
200 it is, Mr. Blackburn?
That way it'll help pay for that part of
Yeah.
it, so I appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much. All right.
Have a good night.
Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Rob. Thanks for
Congratulations.
waiting.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Todd, for doing that.
Thank
All
you.
right, let's go.
Todd, you're up.
Yeah, and that's I mean, to be selected as the 5A band to play out of all the bands in the state.
That's pretty good.
That's a big deal.
Stuff out of the way, and then we can do our reports, guys, if that's okay.
Okay, well, thanks for letting him
I'll
go.
Somebody else.
Okay.
I live in Guthrie.
You live in Guthrie.
Well, I know Todd and I talked with, Leroy.
I'm sorry, could I enter again? I have a couple of questions.
You guys okay
I
with
just
Leroy
couldn't-
opening his item?
Couldn't leave without asking a couple of questions, sorry. I do realize your point and what you're getting at. I just wanna know, on these other events, you know, all you're concerned with mainly is heads and beds, and I get that. But like the several other events, there's no chance in them staying in hotels. I mean, it is funding strictly like Christmas trees or lights or whatever, all these other events on the agenda that through the email that I got. There's no chance in anyone coming in and staying in hotels, and yet they get funding. And how come mine is only based on if you get, when you know that it brings in dollars through hotel or through
The other
venues,
events,
restaurants and stuff.
like the Christmas lights and stuff, that's a community event which we have to sponsor as well, as part of our money.
I know part of it
That's-
too is they are nonprofits, and so
Yeah,
that's,
and that was a
is
key
one of
as
the
well.
movements.
Yeah.
I'm still wanting to do some advertising with you, and I was gonna say, if we aren't doing the sponsorship, please send me an advertising package.
Yeah.
because
Well, and that was the only
that-
other thing that I was gonna bring up, and part of this is on my fault, I guess, but it's one of those things that we have to do. But I mean, I've already, just like from the material that you have, all those signs that say Guthrie, I mean, every one of those signs that I've had made cost me $100 a piece. And I've put, there's $400 or $500 in banners that I've spent to put out there, and your logo's on our trailer that we're gonna give away next month, and you're already on 1,000 of these that we've mailed out. And I mean, I've already done all this, just, I guess, assuming that you were going to be on board with the event because you were in the past and all that. And so I'm out all of that. So I guess there's no compensation for that as well. But anyway, those were my only other concerns or questions.
I guess, you know, we are just a recommendation board.
Mm-hmm.
You're most welcome if
Yeah, you could
Sit-
sit down with
sit
me
down
and
with
Leroy
the city manager.
and see what
and
our
discuss what
options
the
are
options are.
going forward.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it's only, we just recommend, that's it. We're
Yeah.
not the final word.
Yeah, he has to sign off
He
on
has
the
to sign off on it.
the final application for anything,
Yeah.
but it's good to know, he will wanna know, why did the board decide this, and, you know, we talked about some of that tonight, but, yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
not I know it looks like a hard no, it's not a hard no,
Yeah.
just, yeah. So,
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I just couldn't
All right.
leave without
Okay,
asking a couple
that's
more.
fine. Would you have some time in the next week or so to meet with me and Leroy? I know you're here tonight, but this meeting's continuing.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
probably. You just let me know
Okay.
what's your schedule. I mean, I
Yeah.
live 3 hours from here,
I know that's
but.
we could conference call, is that,
But
do you have the
sure.
conference call ability?
Sure,
So you're not
we
having
can
to
do
waste
that.
gas?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I can come back if I need to.
okay,
Just let me know in advance. I can do whatever.
okay.
All right. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so this is for, the Lazy East sponsorship has been for the last 3 years for Verla and Jeremy. And we were doing $10,000 a year for sponsorship out of the Lazy E. Paid them every quarter $2,500. And it all came out of our marketing budget or whatever. So that contract is up for renewal, and I think they've given some numbers in the packet somewhere. I did read it. And
I've got some information in there.
so that contract is up for renewal this year. And is it a 1-year contract, is my question.
It is a 1-year contract.
Okay.
Well, I believe it's a 1-year contract, well, I think it's usually 3 years. It's usually a 3-year contract, but it's,
It's typically we sign 3-year agreements. That's kind of what I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Is looking forward to 19 and 20.
I see, okay,
So right now we're asking for 10 for 18.
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, and I guess I wasn't prepared necessarily to make a presentation because I thought you guys had some questions, and what I'd like to do, I mean, is just kind of go over a little bit about what Lazy E is. Lazy E, for you guys that don't know, and I'm sorry y'all that do know what we're all about, but Lazy E is a multi-use facility. We don't just do equestrian events, we also do motorcycle racing, and we have a vintage market junk show that happens twice a year, where we bring in vendors that sell antiques and things like that. So it's not
BMX. It's big.
BMX.
Yes, BMX is really
We have an event in the spring called Junior Moto X that is the guys that originally created the X Games for ESPN are the guys that produced this motorcycle race, and it's all juniors, and they're from all over the world. We've got kids from Sweden, and we had a kid from New Zealand last year that participated. So they're coming from all over the world with no horse trailer to stay in. So they're gonna put some people in the rooms. But just, I digress a little bit. The point is that Lazy E has, in the last 3 to 4 years, completely changed our business model. Originally, we produced events that were more local in nature, whereby we did bull ridings and we did a lot of ticketed events. So people from the region would come and buy a ticket to the bull riding or a concert or what have you, and there wasn't a lot of economic impact on the communities where Lazy is home to. So we took a hard look, not just because of that, but also because of our bottom line, and took a look at what would be a better business model. And what we decided was to start bringing in more competitor-driven events where people come from out of town. So that has been our goal the last 3 years, and I'm happy to say we've gone from about 14 to 15 events 5 years ago to now more than 40 a year. And almost every single one of those events, minus a few, like the country market, are more than regional and even national events. Our flagship event that we produce every year and have since the opening of the Lazy E is the Cinch Timed Event Championships, and we have people that buy tickets from and we know this because we use Ticketmaster, but they buy tickets from at least 42 states is our most of any this year. Most of any to date that we've had, all from 42 states. So we do a real good job of trying to bring in those events where they're spending money in our community where it matters. That they're not going home to their house at night. They're staying here, they're staying in hotels, they're staying at the arena in RVs, but then they're also coming to town and spending dollars. And I mean, our whole focus has been on creating an environment where people, they come, Lazy is a destination site that they come to from everywhere. And we've been really successful with that business model. And as you can see, we've even started to weed out some of the lesser events and gone to more participants in larger events. Our dates right now are almost full because we have to have so much time in between the events. But we're starting to like Little Britches. You mentioned Little Britches. That was a huge thing for us to bring Little Britches to town. We signed for the first time American Quarter Horse Association World Show, which is going to be here next summer. We signed the largest barrel race in the country, Lance Graves International Barrel Race, because they come from Brazil and all over the world to compete in it, believe it or not. That's the largest barrel race in the country, and we signed them starting next February 2018. So we're really excited, not just about the fact that we're bringing in competitor-driven events, but they're top events. They're the larger events. They're the more prestigious events. So we're happy about that. And Guthrie is a big part of that being able to have a city like Guthrie where the history and that downtown community, a lot of these people come from cities that have those downtowns and they can appreciate that, and they do like the architecture and things like that. So I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to introduce Guthrie to a lot of different eyes that might not otherwise see it. So with that, I can answer questions.
I will say too that I know Todd and I sat down with Leroy and we talked about the different things that were in the existing contract and what's kind of burdensome for staff, what's worked, what hasn't. We've talked about changing, instead of maybe putting brochures out in all the tables, that they let us have a hospitality table at, didn't we did talk about that, right?
Yeah.
You'd be able to have a
No,
hospitality
absolutely.
table there, and then he
Absolutely.
took stuff for, and they specifically circled on the map Guthrie Escape, the weekend the escape was when they had the Western dressage, and
Is
told
that
your
the
people
art
about
and-
it.
Was that the wine?
The art and wine, yeah.
Yeah,
Guthrie
I
Escape
gave
art
out a
and wine.
lot of
Yeah.
brochures in the
And
store
so
too.
he's kind of helping in that respect more so in the past to kind of do the publicizing for us when I can't be there.
Well,
Well, and Andrea brings another, I mean, to give her some kudos too, not to interrupt you, Mike,
No,
but I
go.
mean, she brings a lot more engagement to this relationship than we've had. And she stays on top of things and gets me information, thereby me being able to disseminate it to our competitors. So this relationship has been fantastic.
So if we do continue with it next year, we're likely to get a lot more out of it than we
Okay.
have in the years past. Leroy's recommendation was to go ahead and continue with it as it stands,
Well,
but I know you guys
I would
have
like to
questions.
see where our sign is a little bit more central.
Okay.
And we're gonna change our sign as well, right?
Well, I know we have a new logo, and they've already got the new
Yeah.
logo up on their website.
I
So
saw, yeah.
I'm talking about
The billboard?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about that, and I know you said that a lot of the competitors are the ones that park around near the billboard.
Yeah, I
So
think
that's what gets us the
what you
hotels
have to
versus-
remember about our new business model is that there are certain events that bring in a crowd, like
Mhm.
timed event, that it'll be full,
Yeah,
it will be
okay,
sold
yeah.
out. So really, I mean, anywhere is great, but for our competitor-driven events, most always, they're coming from the north end.
North side. Okay.
So they're all sitting down there, they're sitting on their horses, there are people in the stands, because just like with Chris's event, there's grandmas and uncles, and, I mean, there are people in the stands, but it's nothing like timed event. I mean, I wouldn't even begin to tell you that we have a large crowd, fan base, because they're all competitors, so they're all there, and they come there to win money. So that's what their concern is, so.
And
I
don't
mean-
you do the cookout at the same time for timed event?
Yes, sir, we have
And if y'all haven't gone to that, it's worth the $20.
well, and you know what, we just found out that the Chuck Wagon Association of America just honored us with the #1 Chuck Wagon Cook-Off of the year
It
for
is.
last year. for
They do it in the
2017.
second arena
So we're
outside.
pretty excited about that.
Well,
So-
Yeah.
I would like to see the contract just restructured from the point
Well-
of, but if you guys are gonna restructure it,
And let me answer your question, we
Sure.
can move it, we can absolutely
That's-
move it,
Okay.
but right now, I mean, everything's full right now.
Okay.
So I'll
That's
have to
fine.
wait till another
Sure,
contract expires, and then I can shuffle it around. You're on the
I'm
west side right now,
Yeah.
so.
About 3/4 from.
About,
Cantina.
right, about 2/3, 3/4,
Yeah.
something like that. But if you think about it, it's farther towards the north, and that's where a lot of those guys are coming in, so.
So are we gonna change the logo or just?
But we are going with our new logo.
Okay,
the
so
that
Visit
will-
so
Guthrie,
you'll
the
reprint it?
www.guthrieok.com. So
Okay.
yeah, that's all included with that. And I think it's still where we would get some ticketed events. I'd like to use some of
Oh,
those
yeah.
to make some giveaway packages to help encourage.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that I'll commit to you
Our
guys to
community
right
relationship.
now, and I know we're gonna restructure a little bit, and you're gonna see a lot more amenities actually in the contract, because you've been getting quite a few amenities that are not the contract to this point.
Mhm.
So I just basically included them all in the contract, but it's at the top of the page, it says partnership agreement, and to me, I take that seriously. if we're partners and you come to me and you have an idea that you say, hey, we've got the ensemble thing, or I don't know, something happening in town, and you want to do something special and create a link on our Facebook page or something, we're all for that. I mean, that's why, to me, it's not a sponsorship, it's a partnership, and I truly believe that. And not because it's in a contract or on paper, I'm gonna fulfill that to the best of my ability ever, especially if there's no cost. I mean, if there's no cost involved, I could do relatively anything that we agree on to do to help you guys.
I guess I'm looking at what exactly we're getting for the amount. I know we're getting the billboard and what else as well.
Well, we were
Well,
getting,
I don't
you
think
know,
that's been clarified yet.
That's what we need to clarify.
Yeah.
because we were
Anything
getting to
else?
put
Well,
brochures.
I know over the.
Yeah, and I wasn't running
Well,
out
see,
and putting a
and
1,000
see,
brochures out in the.
I was there as well, and we had a booth there, but, you know, people just walking by, it's just like, I guess we need something more concrete, more in the form.
Well,
Well, I'll give you
we're
an
gonna have
example.
that hospitality set up for the next time. It's not
Okay.
going to be a
Just a
table
table.
like it was. You
Okay.
remember the meeting where we voted on, we'll have some seats there for
Yeah,
people to actually
okay.
sit down and relax a minute. And I've also got, you know, I'm putting a book together with all of our restaurant menus that people can flip through,
Okay.
and lodging options, you know, things like that. And then
Because we'll have
events
that,
calendar.
that
So-
booth that we voted on last meeting,
Okay,
that's what'll be
okay,
set up.
Yeah.
Nobody's just gonna walk past that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know over the years, you've had a lot of changes, and I've seen our partnership, you know, change as well,
Mhm.
because of some of the ways you've gone with your new ideas. You know. Does that make sense?
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
So I'm just trying to think,
Yeah.
to me, it has to be in writing. What are we gonna get? I just don't wanna leave it at, okay, we're planning this, we're planning that, you know, and then,
So has the contract been written yet?
It's in process.
It's in process.
Okay.
I think we wanted to, you know, I know if we had questions or things we wanted to ask, he's here to help, you know, draft that, right?
I mean, I think the thing
So if we had
is-
things we really
Yeah.
wanted from him, he is
I think that's
here.
the thing, is if
This
you
is our
want
chance to say
to be able to
something.
put 2,000 things on the seat, that's what you need to say.
Yeah.
So when him and Andrea get back together to write it up,
To write the
he
official
knows
thing
what
out.
you guys
Exactly,
want.
that's why he's here to
I like
answer
the
these questions.
hospitality.
yeah, that's fine, but we
Okay.
need to make sure, and where it's gonna be,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It could change every time, but.
I
that's
have
because-
another thing that Andrew and I talked about.
Mhm.
Here's, you know, we're talking about putting questionnaires on seats. Well, you know, you guys need to partner with us on that, because we're already doing a sign up in a questionnaire where we're giving away prizes.
Mhm.
So we're incentivizing people to sign up and give us their name and ask a couple of questions. So instead of putting those on the seats and then them having to fill it out and then mail it back, so you have the cost of the postage, you have the cost of the printing,
Yeah.
you have the time to put them out there, and your response rate, I'm gonna say
It
is
was
dismal.
It was
It
abysmal,
was
yes.
bad.
Okay.
It was-
So
That study actually
we got
ended for that
over
reason.
5,000 entries
Yeah.
last year for our prize packages that we were giving away. So, I mean, we can't put your entire poll on there,
Yeah.
but we can put
Well,
a
we're
couple
wanting to do
of
something simpler
questions.
to get feedback and.
We can put a couple of questions, you know, where are you staying?
Mhm.
You know, I mean, it's as simple as that. So I think we can do some things like that. That again, that's not necessarily in the contract, but that's something that we can do, and we can partner with you guys, because
And it's
we're
really
already doing
saving
it.
effort, really.
We're already doing it, and we're
giving us
incentivizing them by giving them all
feedback,
kinds of
so.
prizes.
The only thing, I mean, the thing I would like to see us take advantage of would be to get to get tickets to the ticketed event that we could then do Facebook giveaways on, like we've done for some of our
Or
other
we
events.
could do even
Yeah.
a event ticket giveaway on their Facebook page. That was something I pursued, because they have people coming from all over the
Correct.
country
Mhm.
that might wanna win a weekend in Guthrie, and then they would come back and stay in a hotel, all because they saw the Lazy E, they came to the Lazy E.
That's at
So,
restaurants or
yeah.
something like
That's-
that.
See, that's,
Yeah,
that,
that's where we're gonna get some of
yeah.
Yeah.
our
Good.
benefits.
Questions,
That's a
guys?
great idea.
Ideas? Thoughts, Verla?
Well, I was just thinking about, you know, again, the amount, it looks big, but yet it seems like we're getting a lot more bang for the buck
I
because
do
of
know
how many
every
events.
time
that
I've
you
toured
have.
hotels, there's people checking in cowboy hats, so that's.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
even
it
this
could be just
weekend-
where we are. but
Even this
yeah,
weekend, I was at
it's-
Walmart and the kids were out there and they're, you know, for the bowl, we're out shopping with mom and dad. My other question is, I know they're independently contracted and they're leased events, but the hotel nights aren't filled in on these other events here, just on your events.
Well,
So do you guys get any kind of feedback from the leasee as to how many hotels they fill or?
I left this on here because what these two columns are,
Yes.
these are the Lazy E owned events. So
Correct.
this is what we produce, just like if it was a Chris Neal times 8. So when we have to have so many hotel rooms that we need to house our staff during those times. And so that's what I put on
Okay.
these two right columns to show you guys how many hotel rooms that we are looking to
Okay.
book.
So that doesn't
Whether
include guests or competitors coming in and booking rooms?
No, not at
Okay.
all, not
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
And if you also look on the third column from the right, occupancy percentage,
Yes.
we've tried to be real upfront and honest with you guys about how our competitors stay. So if you look at that from the team ropers, the very first one on there, the team ropers is just 30%. So only 30% of the people that come to the Lazy E for that team roping will probably occupy a hotel room. The rest of them are gonna be in their trailer.
Right.
And I mean, we try to be very upfront and very, upfront.
So on the little britches,
So-
thing, you've got 30-90 down there.
Yeah,
What
so
does-
30% of the participants will stay in their trailer
Oh, okay.
versus 90% of the spectators, which is everybody else. The moms, the dads, and the uncles, and even the parents, I mean, are probably more than likely gonna stay in a
Okay.
hotel. So it's a little bit of a, you have to split it. So if you've got, Little Britches brings in 45,000, the attendance is 45,000. You have to split that between, that 90 and that 30. And, it's hard to tell exactly. I'm not gonna say it's half or anywhere close to that, because I don't really know. But that can give you an idea of what to expect.
Okay.
So, for instance, the Junior Moto X Supercross in
Right.
May 11th, 13th, like Heath and I were talking about, that one, I mean, you've got 80% of those people staying in hotels because most of them are from out of town. They're hauling
They're
a
just
lot of
hauling
them.
bicycles or motorcycles, they're not hauling a trailer.
Yeah, and a lot of them will have their bikes shipped in. If they come from
Yeah.
from a general area, regional area where they're all together, they'll have one carrier ship their bikes in. So, I mean, it's different stuff. And then you've got different horse events, which to me is crazy to think about it. But you've got the Western Dressage Association. Look down here, the very last one on the very first page is September through October 1st, Western Dressage National Finals. That's a world final. It's an FEI event, which is Federal Equestrian International. It's the same governing body that governs the Olympics, the Equestrian Olympics. First event of its kind that we've had at the Lazy. We're really proud of it, but it's a very upscale crowd. So about 85% of those people will stay in hotels. They have grooms that take care of their horses that stay at the ranch.
Yeah.
And the rest of them stay in hotels. So it's real interesting, the diversity of people that we bring to town. I mean, it just goes to show, from Supercross to World Dressage Championships. I mean, it's crazy.
This
To many
contract's gotta
boys.
go to city council.
It does,
Right.
well, actually, I don't know, we were gonna talk, and we don't believe it does, because it's under the 20,000 or whatever.
But-
So once it's drafted, we can come back
Yeah.
and look at it, I know I put it on there as
I
a
would
possible
say we
action,
need to either table it,
but, well, yeah,
We have to.
because we don't have a final product.
yeah.
And question, going back to the occupancy, that's not just saying Guthrie, that's Edmond as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
overall everything, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, you just kinda have to do
See,
the
because
math.
I could go down and relate to me.
Sure.
You know, so, they're pretty close.
So when do we think the contract will be finalized?
I could put it on, we can just table it until the contract is finalized, I mean, we could, I mean, I know that's a little.
I'll have it this
but-
week.
Okay.
Does anyone have a
So-
problem with that?
I motion to tell the truth.
To what? To table
Yes.
till next
I
month?
thought you said to tell the truth. What?
Okay. All in favor of tabling till we get a final contract next
Aye.
month? Aye. We will, you give us a final contract and we'll,
Thanks so much
So,
for coming.
Oh, no, it's my
Oh,
pleasure.
sorry.
I love
Did you have
talking,
more?
I love talking about what we do, so it's no problem.
Question, Todd, how come we're only going for the 1 year, not the 3 years?
Well, and
I
that's
think
what I
that's
was,
something that we need to talk about, and I want
Okay,
Leroy's
okay.
input on that.
All right, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So-
I was just-
because we actually, I mean, when we talked, the last contract was 3 years, but
Yeah.
I don't know that we ever really.
We didn't talk about that at all.
And I got down to doing it and I thought, well, wait a minute, is it gonna be, so I just
Yeah.
needed to,
Okay.
that's really the only
I'll
thing
ask the
holding
big
it
boss
up,
his
everything
thoughts
else
on
is
that, because I'm
done.
new at contracts and what we want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume that because it was done before, you could again, but I
Yeah.
didn't wanna make assumptions.
Yeah, and I don't know the legalities, because I haven't been
Yeah.
doing my part enough of it to go, I'm assuming 3 years is fine, but usually they have to include some sort of clause about, changes, but, because I know we do bluegrass for 3 years, I think. Sorry, I know, I'm looking at you, we're like, you've done bluegrass
I
for a
just
while.
sell
You're-
t-shirts.
You're my bluegrass
You
teacher.
just-
I just sell
Da-da-dum-dum-dum.
Okay,
okay, thank you, sir.
yeah.
Yep, done.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you,
Oh, man, it's my pleasure.
Go get
Appreciate
a
it.
cookie.
Like
Did
I
you get a
said,
cookie?
oh, I'm good.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Good for you.
That's good, that's good, more for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, Todd.
I'm trying to cut back.
Okay, now that we've spent all our money,
Okay.
I'm gonna leave these here if you don't mind.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
That's
You
great.
guys can, and I'll
Yep.
have more chamber coffee too.
can we do
Appreciate
that?
it.
See ya.
Yep.
Nice meeting you guys.
All
Thanks so
right.
much. See you.
Bye, Ted.
We did that. Discussion of financial status, do we need to
Okay.
go over that at all, because we don't
Well,
have a new budget yet?
This isn't even, we have the new proposed budget, but what's going to happen is at the next council meeting, 'cause I don't think the budget amendment happened last council meeting. I guess, tomorrow, tomorrow, it might be happening tomorrow. They're going to do a budget amendment that rolls over what was left in all of these funds into next year, and then I'll have final numbers so I can make up a new spreadsheet. So I just kind of updated what we had, but it's not going to be 100% accurate because we're working,
Adjusted.
we're working between the two. I wanted to explain that, but we do have, we definitely have enough for, the, $200 for the wind ensemble brochure. I'm nervous about the territorial Christmas, but, we'll have 7,000, I think, by the time, even if we have to make an adjustment in this next one, we can get them what it is. So
I'm
just
just-
for what's collected quarterly from.
Yeah, I'm just nervous on the Christmas thing because they can't say how many visitors, or buses and,
Well, my thing is, we were talking about the advertising,
Yeah.
what Guthrie Escape, they seen
Yeah.
the increase because they did the TV.
Right.
And I think you even mentioned it,
the 89ers.
89ers.
Well, and I know the
And if we're
tendencies,
going- No,
Yeah.
just looking at those two
I'm
scenarios.
just, I'm just a little, that they spent the 8 and knew it only cost them 5.
Well, let's just leave that.
So let's just go.
Forget it.
Let's
Move
go on, next
We
item.
need to move on.
yeah.
Next item, I can't wait to hear this because he's not here.
Yeah.
Discussion of military veterans post-rodeo
You got it right.
report.
Post-event report. So I did get a budget from them for their 89ers celebration bull riding. And I got a few receipts of things I did not get, I was supposed to get a copy of the check and I didn't call Mac and ask him for that specifically because we included in the budget. The amount that we approved back when he asked for it was for, draw money for stock producers. And, his stock contractor here, his amount that he spent total was 10,000 on stock producing, and we gave him, you see in your event support there,
Am I missing
if you printed your own packet, you will be.
it? No, this is your
Okay.
packet, so is it all the way at the end?
Here, just fire out mine for there. If you need it.
No, I didn't see those.
Yeah. From my event support spreadsheet that shows us what we gave them.
Okay, I got it here, I got it.
Here we go, there we go. Yeah, we gave him 2,500, so that was, you know, a quarter of the 10,000 that he used for stock. So,
So again, my question, he doesn't have how many people he drew, does he?
he drew, he said it was an average, I had that in his emails. I wanna say that he said that it was over 2,000 people. It's one of the things he told me over the phone, but didn't send it in writing. And I wrote it in my notes and where that is. But I believe the number was 2,000 people over the course of the season. He has submitted an application for 2018, but it was so late and it was missing things, so I didn't put it on the agenda for tonight. I figured we had enough.
So basically, he's just running activities for the whole year.
Yeah. So, you wanted to, do you want me to?
Not one event.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah, the-
right.
Yeah, the
Like
budget
a
is.
season thing.
For that 2,500 too, I know, yeah, we did have some, you know, the advertising, we did get some receipts for that, and we do have proof of mention.
Does it add
I
up to
do have our-
2,500 or?
No, because he wasn't approved, we didn't give him funds for advertising, we gave him funds for stock.
Okay.
So, but he did some advertising, and he did pay for our banners to be put up and did those, and,
Okay.
he did put our logo and the 89ers Day Celebration Rodeo,
Well, I know next year 89ers has already said that they are gonna, anyone that wants on their advertising gonna have to help pay for their advertising.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
So the CVB has to pay for advertising for the 89ers?
Well, they haven't brought it yet, I mean,
Yeah, we don't have their application for event support just yet, so. Right
Okay.
over here.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions on the
No.
report? Are we good?
Yes.
We're happy? How about Red Night?
Red Brick Nights?
The Red Brick Nights.
Red Night Bricks.
Red Night Bricks, yeah, Red Brick Nights, please. I mean, we know what we gave, we essentially paid for the stage and the.
Yeah, we
and-
did, and those, we paid
So-
directly for the staging, and so,
And then we paid.
so I
for-
have the receipt to that, I mean, but I,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I-
handled internally.
We paid for the stage and we paid for the fireworks
Mhm.
insurance, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So.
We're good.
And-
We're good.
Okay. Yeah, their total attendance, they've got that broken down by month. Tracy has that, and then they did a budget for us. I do know that they are trying to work forward, to keep it, so that they're not asking for as much year after year. So I really like their plan on that. They do have a plan to
Well,
get
I
whether or
like
not
HC's question with the Christmas thing was, what are you doing to
You
not
have to
come
build
back-
up on it.
To build up, to not come back year after year,
Yeah.
so. Okay, event support program, this is the umpteenth. Get it? Has everyone got a chance to look at it? This is about version number 3. Jeremy, did you get a chance to look at this? Is what we're doing, Jeremy, is we have maxed out, and we're gonna, if city council approves this, we're gonna start scoring the requests. So we can best use our money.
Every year, we have an amount of hotel motel tax as part of our budget that we traditionally have given to support events. As tax dollars, we are required to get something in return for that, so it's not just a grant, they have to, and usually, it can be small, it can be, use our logo, mention our website, mention us as a sponsor. A lot of groups then will put together advertising packages that then we can go back and purchase, and I'm hoping a lot of groups move that way so that we can be proactive and use our marketing budget. So I'm trying to actually shrink our event support budget into marketing to try to, I don't know if it's gonna encourage that or not.
Well, I
It's-
think
it's
we're
not
trying,
right
if
now,
we
but-
get them here, then it's the merchant's job to,
Mhm.
him to spend money once we get them here.
But,
And then the other thing I noticed, is this exclusive forum, or is this now new? I can't remember this, where we're asking for other services requested. Is that, did we do that because Leroy was talking about that?
I did,
something we need to
yeah, that's
address.
something that we need to probably
Okay.
address.
I like it, I mean, I'm not.
Okay, it's something I added there because I know some of our events, big events do need services. I mean, if you're gonna
Correct.
have a parade, you're gonna cross a highway, I mean, you guys, I'm preaching to the choir on this.
Okay.
But, yeah, there's gonna be costs involved with that. And that may be something that I can strip out of this application if we come up with a good process, like a fee to apply for exclusive use or a fee per service. What I don't wanna do is suddenly we require some fees for services and then people just go, well, I'll be fine without trash cans, you know. So there may be some overreaching policies that deal with street closures and events that are not tied into event support.
No, because I saw
But I
another
think-
thing that came to me, and I don't think it was intended to me, because I haven't taken me off the 89ers Facebook, talking
Uh-huh.
about Vaughn closing down
Mhm.
the street in front of the jungle on that Saturday night. Now, why it's just coming to me 6 months
Yeah.
later, I have no
Well,
idea.
sometimes, it's hard to give preference of one business over another, even if they're doing an event that draws visitors. So, trying to create a better plan for that. But anyway, this is event support, this is awarding money to, groups in exchange for, logo use and acknowledgement, and making sure they're using it. And I think we're trying to set the intent is that events will eventually become self-sustaining or use the money for growth. Because why not capitalize on what's already working?
Right.
But what we have been getting is like Territorial Christmas. They are expanding their advertising every year, but events coming back for more and more money each time around. Going, well, last year we got approved for 2,000, let's ask for 5, and doing a really, being really upset when we don't get that. And so we're trying to set some more guidelines so that we can help start things off, get them running, go from there. At least that's my understanding of the intent that we talked about last time.
Yep.
So this is the form, the application form, like we got 2 of the old style forms in here from the other groups. I've talked a lot, I'm sorry.
Nope, you're fine. I would like
Over it.
to, the only thing, and this would be, and this is maybe something we can talk about in November. I would like to see, depending on what the group thinks, us change our meeting to maybe the second Monday of the month, so that if we have, because based on the way we're gonna do the applications in 2018, if we don't approve it till the 3rd week, unless we get really creative and say, put it on the agenda for the city council for tomorrow night, that means they wait 2 more.
Well, it doesn't go before council.
Not every time. It just-
Not every time, but in case there would be something
An
that would
appeal?
need. Yes, and that way, it could be on the next council agenda. Because otherwise, now, it would wait till the November meeting. If, in other words, like, if Chris decides to show up at city council tomorrow night,
Yeah.
he can make public comment on it, but they can't do anything, because it's not on the agenda.
Yeah. That's changing an ordinance that created our whole
Well, we can
board.
change the ord- we
Well, we
can
can
change the
suggest that,
ordinance.
no, only council can do it. We can suggest a change. I don't wanna change it, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's fine.
My input is that, but,
Well, that's
I think that groups can learn to get their things in, and I know that may be,
Oh, no, you guys work so hard.
We got a tough boss.
Okay.
He's
All
talking
right,
about,
so where are
he's
we
talking
at
about
on this?
Andrea.
Are we ready to send this to council and have them look it over first meeting in November?
I mean, that's what, I guess what I'm here for, is to see if you had wanted me to make more changes to this before we.
I think if we have to tweak it after we get into it next year.
Well, and maybe we'll get to where we do need to change our ordinance. I just wanna see how it works before I do go and jump and change a bunch of things.
But I mean, if this is gonna be effective 2018,
Mhm.
then
Well, it'd be, yeah,
it would be February would be the first meeting we have to consider events.
well, if you notice
Which would
that,
mean-
our applications are now accepted quarterly.
I know,
according
that's
to
what I'm
this.
saying,
Yeah, okay.
which would mean the groups, which would will give us time
Mhm.
to get out to the groups, whether you do it, I do it, we all take a group and start calling them,
Mhm.
which means groups like 89ers,
Mhm.
and any of those groups would have to have their numbers to us in February. Because they can't come to us in March and say, we need money for advertising.
I mean, I could strike that whole thing about
Nope.
applications accepted quarterly.
Nope.
Mhm.
Nope,
but- Okay,
I don't think so.
all right.
Well,
It's just gonna be our job to get all the groups to know that.
Yeah, well, I wanna review this with them anyway and get their feedback. I am going to get
Well,
pushback, I'm certain, because a lot of them don't like paperwork. They've already told me the application is too hard and too
Who said
long,
that?
and
The
then
groups?
that's right.
I've had some people come visit my office.
Really?
Yes, they're not happy about how it stands already.
We'll tell them also
But-
buy them a pen.
Wow,
But,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
But, you know, it's, yeah.
If we got a change coming, this is October, and
Mhm.
we've already announced there's a change coming.
Yes.
Yeah,
Simple as
yeah.
that.
I
And
mean,
it's
I'd like to
quarterly.
get some of their feedback.
And
all
Yeah,
of
we
it
want some
out.
feedback as well.
And this,
Yeah.
I would also like this, I would like to send this to city council. That way, if there's
Well, this is,
feedback,
it's a policy, so we have to. Yeah,
So
this is
I-
setting policy.
I move we send this to city council for the November meeting for their consideration.
Okay.
But I just think we need to send it to them. Let them have at it. It'll probably take them another,
Yeah. Well, it will take effect 30 days after they approve it, or we could say
I just
January
say
28th.
January 1.
January
2000.
1 of 2018,
Yeah.
unless they have changes, and then, you
Yeah.
know.
But that gives us, that still gives us 8 weeks to change anything.
Mhm. What other
Anyone against
feedback?
that? Are you,
No, I think it's great.
okay.
Who seconded it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Okay.
Okay, I don't even wanna get into this, but go ahead. Discussion of Christmas lights.
Okay. Well, I've talked to other communities, and most of them, if they do Christmas lights, they do them, well, there's 2 communities working on getting them downtown. The way they've been successful is they themselves have bought the lights, and they tie them in at the pole at the end of a row, and they pay for installation. And
Is
they
it
just
by the
make
city?
sure that
Wait, who's they?
yeah, they is either the city or the Main Street program or the Chamber of Commerce or whatever group. No, it is whatever group that has gotten this started. It is whatever group has, and they said, you know, it is a joint effort. They said, yeah, the city has to be involved if there's historic preservation involved. That's been the thing. They said, most of them that I've talked to, they said, it'll take you over 1 year to get the ball rolling. Expect your second year, then, you know, they said, first year talk to everybody, second year fundraise, and by the third year you will have lights. One of the groups is really coming into problems now though, because they didn't set defined boundaries, and they said they did all this investment, they've got color change lights, it's a really great program, they've got it all set up, and they said now groups on the fringes of the 2 streets they did downtown want in. And so they're calling and saying, how do we get lights? And then they're saying, well, you're playing favorites because you put lights up for them, and now you're not going to do it for us. And so, and they said there's some maintenance that goes in there. I want to say the costs that I got were over $50,000
Wow.
for it. For the companies that I didn't get quotes.
Are they big
I just-
towns in it? Or?
I should have brought
Big
the list
area?
that I talked to. But from what I talked with Tracy with the chamber, is a lot of the people were really on board with having lights downtown. They just, it's the installation that's most expensive. And you've got to factor in a budget for maintenance every year. And, yeah, LEDs or something is the way to go.
Yeah, really expensive up front.
Colored lights, I think, are, I don't know if they're any more or less expensive, it's just the color of the plastic on the bulb, but, like I said, a lot of them are do it and done, you know, and they are gonna stay up year round, and so you want something durable and weather friendly, but you know, whoever installs them has to be insured for a lot, because there's a lot of liability there.
How much is the cost 50 to just go buy all these light bulbs? Or
No, that was with installation.
Everything.
That was
That was
with
with
installation.
installation.
That was not the cost of the electricity though, because this group hasn't done it. One of the cities hasn't done
Okay.
it. The other group that I talked to, they've been doing it for a couple years.
So
They
did the
said
group,
the group, the one that's done it for a couple years, said what they're doing this year instead is they're telling people they're not doing that anymore. They're going to invest in things like wreaths and lightings for the light poles that are already city property, so they're not dealing with private property.
but the cities that are doing it, are any of them paying the electric bill?
I
Or
think,
is that on the building owners?
I think some of them are tying them in directly to the pole. I don't know who owns the poles. I didn't get all that. But, so that's how I found out it's happening, and it's not happening in that many other cities. It's really not.
Right.
Most of what they do is they put lighting from light poles downtown across the streets. They decorate the street and sidewalk, not the buildings.
Right,
So-
their property.
That would be, I know there's some issues with facade stabilization in our buildings downtown, and we would probably need to do that so that we don't, because Bruce Johnson looked into that when he was city manager and very quickly wrote it off. And he said it was gonna be cost prohibitive and also dangerous because you've gotta then involve private property to stabilize their facades if you're gonna run things. Or you have to make sure with ODOT that you've got
Well,
clearance.
and if you hang the
And-
lights across
I mean-
from one lamp to another,
Mhm.
what do we run into when they do the Christmas parade? Or what do we run into when
Right.
they do the 89er and
Mhm.
the various
'Cause the light-
parades?
Well, these
the
lights
Then
you
they
would
would
have to take
to-
down.
They
The
would
lighting-
have to be
Oh,
taken
they
down.
would come
These,
down.
yeah, they
And
won't stay
so-
up.
But, so that's gonna be
Yeah,
an
okay.
installation charge that would repeat every year.
Every year.
So, cause we don't have enough park staff to just do that,
No,
we just
no.
don't. I
You
mean,
have to
they
hire.
go and put up the wreaths.
So then really, this is gonna have to be a project that some other group wants to take on and make it happen.
Well,
Yes.
I think so. I
I
mean,
mean-
they did community buy-in. They said each building that wanted to have lights, they really sold it up. They said, give us $100 each, and they did the red felt tip pen and
Right.
the thermometer to get it done. They've really been active and they've had a lot of corporate sponsors and they have a lot of support. I'm trying to remember which city this was I was talking to. They're very positive about it.
But so you're saying it would
but
take
it's
a
just-
year just to get them to fundraise and
Yeah.
do that? So it's not something,
You took
Yeah,
at
we
least 2
can't
years.
do it
It's
in
not
a
gonna
month.
happen in 2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
all right.
yeah.
You
But
just-
I mean, I think
Next.
it's something we can continue to look at. I don't know that I have the time to devote to get it started this year. I think it's a good idea. It's one of the beautiful things we do.
I think I'd rather continue to focus on us marketing and getting people to come to town
Okay.
than spend our, but that's just.
But I think if there's a group out there,
If there's a
I
group
still
out
think
there,
we
well-
still kind of put the word out there.
Oh, absolutely.
That,
Yeah.
hey, this is a project, if
Who
you,
wants it? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
cause that's what it's gonna take, is it's gonna take
Yeah, and I'd be
a
happy
gung
to,
ho.
I'd be happy to sponsor, have them apply for funds to do that, the downtown
Right.
Christmas lighting group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause it's gonna take a group that's gung ho
Mhm.
to get it going.
Yeah. But yeah, the big cost on it is installation,
Okay.
so.
Giveaways. What do we got coming for?
Oklahoma Teen Book Convention, October 28th. I don't know if,
2
well,
weeks, 2 weeks.
we've got, Heath has got, we're gonna be giving away a Scaregrounds package here through social
This
media.
week?
Okay.
He's creating an ad for that right now, and I have all the stuff. It's that, and I think it's Billy Sims Barbecue is the gift card for that.
Cool.
Yeah, after that, we've got some other events coming up. Oklahoma Teen Book Con. I talked with Candy Ford and Samantha Stewart, and they think it'd be really great. I think it'd be great to actually give away a package at the convention. That may not be a social media giveaway, but that if we could put a package together for that, they're going to be drawing teens from all over the state. It may be incentive for their family to come back and see some of our other things. I know that's, yeah, I mean, we can push their event on Facebook, but they don't have a lot of branded stuff, you know? I mean, you could get a signed book from one of the authors, but they said they would brainstorm on what they could possibly do for us for a giveaway if I had a budget to work with. I just don't know. And I don't know if you want me to put together, an event giveaway package that is appropriate for teens, like some passes to the boarding house and something from Rick's, you know, and maybe something for something else.
I'd do
Those
a
kids
fam-
are coming on like a school bus or something like that. They're not all coming.
Or they just come in with their
individually.
parents?
A lot of them are coming with their parents. I
Parents.
mean, it's a weekend, it's a
So
family thing.
If they don't spend too much time here, you know, it's hard to give a prize for a boarding house, you know.
I would say
Well, I'm trying to encourage them to come back.
Come back.
Right.
Come back.
I would
and
do a
do
family
these things.
weekend package is what I would recommend.
So have you got with Samantha about the t-shirts?
Yeah, we're working on that.
because
So
the time's yes, exactly.
yeah, I know. They're getting me. We're working together. So, what are your thoughts on doing something like that?
I'm open.
That's a good idea, have a gift package.
Okay. What was the budget we would like to set for that?
$50?
Well, if you did it, say if you had a family of
Oh,
four,
but if you're gonna have
How many packages
things.
do you wanna do?
Yeah, that's what I was
Well, just for
gonna.
the teen book convention.
Mhm.
I was just gonna say do one. Have them see if they would be willing to. You know what I mean? Have
Yeah.
kids register to win.
right?
Now, I don't know if this might be shooting outside the scope of what we want, but if we're gonna do a giveaway package and we want them to come back in town, why don't we get a couple of tickets to
Pollard?
Pollard for,
Yeah, but
I'm just,
I know that's a great idea. But what's the music? What's
the Christmas show.
okay?
Well, but
that's both.
when we get a ticket, they're not. They can use it for
They're
any
just a
show.
voucher. Mhm.
Okay.
I know,
That's
but-
great. Yeah,
but-
that's a good idea.
Then if we give them the voucher to the show for 2 tickets, then they're gonna eat here, maybe stay here depending on what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe throw some Rick's chocolate in the bag with the ticket,
Yeah, I was
with the ticket.
thinking boarding house, Pollard, and Rick's maybe. So,
I'm-
and I know
I'm game
Pollard's
for
been
that.
really good about donating tickets.
Mhm.
What's
Um,
tickets to that, 25? Someone help me?
They
Yeah,
donate.
it's
They
4
donate
tickets.
them
They
because
donate
she
them as part of our. Remember
she
when we-
donates them because she wants the advertising.
Yeah.
Would you say 4 tickets?
At least 4 tickets.
I do 4
Okay.
tickets. I do 4 tickets, Rick's chocolate and boarding house.
Okay, I know boarding house is what, $5 for a pass. I don't know how much family passes are. If there's a family discount. Anyone
There
know?
is a family pass, but I don't know
Okay,
what it
we'll
is.
price that, but okay.
That
So
works.
you just
Just one,
That's a nice package.
yeah.
that's a good package.
Okay. Okay.
Do we have to make that a motion?
You know, I don't know how formal we have to get. Since it's advisory, I don't know how formal we have to get. It's under $500, so I would assume it's under $500. We're
Okay.
not including hotels. So,
Okay,
I mean, it's formalizing it if we do.
okay. So we got that. What is the Bee Inspired Quilt Retreat?
That's a group of folks coming in for a quilt retreat here. I didn't know about
What's the
doing a giveaway for like extra special fine fabrics or anything like that. It may not. I talked with them. It sounds like it's just going to be kind of a quilting bee. So
When
Where's
is
the-
it's First Capital Quilters Guild.
Where are they going to meet at?
I should have written that down. They're meeting at I believe the Fairgrounds Educational
Okay.
Building. They're going to be at the fairgrounds, and I want to say
Is this when they
We
just
have-
all come in town and they all just work on their quilts? And
yeah.
I've been out there. It's really pretty cool if you see some of the quilts that they work on.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking maybe gift card to extra special fine fabrics for those
But that almost have to be a giveaway that you did there,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean I'm okay with that, but that wouldn't.
Yeah, because they didn't
You
have
couldn't
any.
put that out
They
there
didn't have
anywhere.
any tickets. Yeah, it's not really a social. It's not a social media.
Right, but I mean I'm okay with that.
But I didn't
So-
word it social media giveaways. I just said possible action for giveaways. So
Right. No, I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you guys be? What would you think of that? You know, putting together some kind of package for
What if you did?
to give away at the quilt retreat?
What if you did
Over-
SWAC in the fabric store?
Swag
together?
for special.
Who was SWAC?
They
So
are
was
the
it Kiss,
yarn.
the yarn?
They are the yarn and knitting place.
And then the fabric, I don't know, do you use
But what about-
fabric?
What do they want?
Oh, quilts do fabric, yeah, quilts would do
I
fabric.
would
And
do
swag
that.
does have things like buttons and notions and,
But they probably know all that stuff anyway.
So,
It's
but
another
do we
$5.
promote the quilt shop that's down on Sooner, or is that not?
well, I mean, that's outside of city limits,
Oh,
but we
okay.
could, I know they sell machines. Well, actually, I don't know if it is outside city limits. I say that, and it's
No.
right there. It's,
For-
you're right.
Forest Hills is city
It's
limits,
Sooner,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, you're
Sooner.
right.
so it's
And that's a
in,
beautiful store. Have you ever been in?
I know.
It's really neat.
I need to take my machine to get service there.
There's much more than machines there.
I would say put something
It's a
together,
quilter's paradise.
put something
Put something
together.
together for that
Be
and see
appropriate.
that. Okay.
Rick's Chocolate Bars, are we out of chocolate bars?
We are out of chocolate bars and the new mold is ready. So, cause we let it lapse because we're waiting for the new mold, and then Stacy made the new mold and then forgot to tell me that it was ready and forgot the invoice, and we've sorted that out. But she's opened Rick's to go, so she's been busy, you know, it's
Okay.
new location. How much how much worth can I spend on chocolate bars? We've got, I think we've got a media blitz in November. Our travel shows really aren't until later, but sometimes small things come up, like we've got.
or aren't you doing the smaller bar?
Mhm, they
now?
are the smaller
What's
bars.
the smaller bar cost us?
I meant to bring that tonight. I wanna say it's under $2. Around $1.80, $2.
How many did you get last time?
Well, last time it was the big bars,
Big bars.
so, I wanna say I got 100.
So if we spend it, what if we spend the same amount of money, we could probably do double the small bars, probably. Do you know how much we spent?
It's not broken out specifically, no, cause it's just part of the marketing budget. And that was like my first meeting here, second meeting here 6 months ago.
I mean, would you guys be okay with that? Like if she looked up what we spent on the big bars and spend the same amount?
Or just buy 100, or what do you
I'd
think?
buy 100.
Just buy 100.
I'd
You
buy
still
100
do it
to
any
start
time anyway,
with.
right? There's no,
Yeah, I
just a
mean,
bar cost, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Travel OK social media package.
this is something where Travel OK will do giveaways for your town on their site. They are booked up. Their next thing, we could do a territorial Christmas giveaway, say the homes tour or some of those things, in November on a platform called WooBox through Travel OK. We're gonna get a better following in mid-January or later, putting together a package. I did at least want to let you guys know that was an option.
What does it cost?
It costs us putting the package together. From my
Also, it doesn't cost
understanding.
us anything for them to do it?
From my understanding, I asked for some details from Blake Parks. He wanted details of when we wanted it and that kind of stuff, and whether we wanted to do the Territorial Christmas WooBox thing, since it's not, I hadn't heard of that platform before. But I know Travel OK has a lot of followers.
Mm.
I mean, they have excellent reach, and it's something I would like to consider, maybe doing a quarterly one through them for the state, not just, our local market on our Facebook, which is a lot of, we have some decent reach, very decent reach, but.
So would something like the historical homes tour giveaway,
Yeah, I mean,
that'd
we
be
could
pretty
do,
neat.
yeah. Do you wanna go ahead and do
That's
that
in
even though
December,
it's?
right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Can we get it on there in time?
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
it would only go on their WooBox, it wouldn't go on their Facebook or their other,
Now, what's a WooBox?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's another site, that's what I'm saying, we're too late to do
Okay.
to do the territorial Christmas for this year, I didn't know,
I
we
think
had to
we-
look
I
like
think
4
we
months or
wait
6
then.
months
Okay,
ago.
this way then.
Okay.
Let's wait.
Wait,
Let's,
okay.
where we can
Do
maximize that.
a
Okay,
nicer package.
Yeah.
all right.
All right,
You could do
staff comments. Yay.
Carnival giveaway there.
We make, well,
Back in.
who wants to start, staff?
Keith, are you
I can
okay
go.
with social media
I can go.
analytics?
I can go.
Okay.
So she mentioned we've done 2 giveaways already. We gave out Guthrie Escape and Boomerang gift card, and then we did Bluegrass tickets and Katie's gift card. So those went out, and those happened this week. We're doing Scaregrounds and Billy Sims, and then last month I talked about where we were getting our analytics is now a paid service, and that is $100 a month. And so that is out, and all the ones that I've researched are $50 to $100 a month. So Facebook does really good analytics. That's what you've got. And so I'm just gonna do that because it's free. Some of them aren't as pretty as our other analytics that we're getting, but it's free. So, so what you have there is just the top page is just an overview of how the page is doing, the action. That's for the last 28 days. If you have any questions, just stop me. The next page is how many followers we have as of today. 5,957 followers. Your next page, I use a lot when I'm posting. That tells us when our people are on Facebook and at what time. So you can, and this is just for the last week. So you can see as of last Saturday, there was 5,608 people on our Facebook page. And if you look at the peak, the most people were on there at about 8 o'clock. So we can look at that and say, you know, if you look at last week, 5, 6, 28, Thursday is our best day last week to post at 8 o'clock. So
Sounds like people are planning their weekends.
So the most people are on our page at that time, and so I try to schedule our posts whenever I do the giveaways according to that page. Your next page is just how many followers. The red is how many people have unfollowed us. So on the 12th, we lost about 4 people. So, and then the next page is where they come from. So as far as mobile, desktop, from our website page, or like another page suggested us. So yeah, as you can see, most people join or like our page from their mobile device. And then your next page is the, I don't know how to think, it's the 10 top 12 posts for the last few weeks. So, and you can kind of see our Guthrie Escape giveaway is the very bottom one. And so you can see how well it's done. And then our bluegrass one is about 5 up. It did the best out of all the posts that are on there. So you can just kind of see how the posts are reaching and who's engaging and all that type of stuff. And then your next page is just the graph of how many comments, shares, all of that stuff. And your 2 spikes are our 2 giveaways. Because in order to qualify for the giveaway, they have to like the photo, they have to share it, and then they have to tag 3 friends. And so that's why those spikes are so big, because of the sharing and all of that. And then your last page is just how many people our posts reach per day. So. Questions, comments, answers?
Moving on to Hilty Roadshow. I went last Thursday to Tulsa, to Hilty, and they had around 470 some employees. Aaron's got some setup of the old booth yet, and video I took there. I wish I had somebody take a picture of me, but I was pretty busy the whole time. I had to put that down pretty quickly because someone came up and started talking to me. It was busy. It was busy. They were having an Oktoberfest celebration. They do these kinds of things regularly for their employees. I know, I talked with Colin Murphy of Travel OK, and he was saying that they counted over 300 people that came in. I know that I believe I spoke with over 200. I ran out of about everything that I brought.
That's
so good. We had really good reach, and people were very positive. A lot of them were going Guthrie Green, because there's a event place in Tulsa called Guthrie Green. I said, no, it's a town. Oh, really? So there was some good interest there. And we did a giveaway for that too, and I don't know who ended up getting it, but hopefully they come back and enjoy it with Scaregrounds tickets and a bag with some goodies. So it's a positive thing. Brochures, we did have more of our brochures printed. I still need to set another subcommittee meeting. I think we've kind of got a concept ironed out. I finally got all the quotes in from all the places that I've been asking about brochures. So, we'll be moving that. We've also got them to food trucks.
That's cool.
I still have 2 or 3 food trucks to contact. That's a sample. I'm hoping Leroy's also okay if I put one of those on the outside of City Hall for information and one on the gazebo. So
Absolutely.
that's gonna be helpful. And food trucks have been really positive about it, so.
And they're magnetic.
They are not magnetic. What I am doing, I am buying the Velcro command hooks to put on so
For
that people
food
can
trucks.
put food trucks. Okay, go for it.
I like that. I think
So-
we get that out on our food trucks, I think that'll be a huge,
Well, that's what I
The
thought.
food trucks, we're saying, they get a lot of people asking them where they're from, so now they have something to give people
Cool.
to pick up our brochure, so that's a really good deal. Booth, I've ordered, the seating is in, the collapsible ottoman seating is in, the, pull-up racks for the brochures are in. I know Aaron has a TV, I'm kind of seeing if he has a stand, we may be able to get one without, cheaper through state contractor surplus, rather than paying for that. So, and Heath is working on the design for the backdrop so that the logo's in the middle panel and they can snap apart for smaller shows and things like that. Trade show tracking is the other thing I have not yet. I'm still working on, the concept for a business card that said, you saw me at, and I fill in Hilti or wherever I've been, present this card for a welcome packet to hotels. The hotels that I've talked to, they're saying, yeah, bring us bags, we'll give them out, we're fine. So, it doesn't give us hard numbers, but it may give us some idea if we're getting anybody booking overnight stays through doing that. It's an inexact science though, it's one of those things we can try a lot.
We take one of that call from them and then you see the heck.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping to do is come around and refill your bags and pick up cards and see where people are coming from.
so do we have any more road shows between now and end of the year that we have to worry about?
I think the only thing is Media Blitz, really, but I don't know that we have any other of those. And then Heath and I went to a social media marketing conference too. We learned some different tools. I have us on Google Plus pages now because if you do that, Google Plus recognizes your business and will help you optimize your website in their listings. So doing some different things to help our website get out there. I haven't done much on the website other than update some hours, but I'm hoping to do a tie-in too for MailChimp, signed up for MailChimp, it's free. I'm populating email lists right now for different things. And once we have that, I'm gonna put a website sign up for our MailChimp so that we can start sending out, here's what to do in Guthrie. I'll probably start maybe just once a month. I mean, that doesn't, or every 2 weeks. So it's not a whole lot of maintenance, but we'll see how that goes. Just events listings and, eventually I'd love to put together a resource for how to plan your event here. Host a major event. Here's the steps to go through, but we'll get there. Anything from you, Heath?
That's all I got.
Okay.
Comments from the board? HC?
No comments, I'm good.
Jeremy, did we overwhelm you for 2 hours?
No, it didn't
Welcome,
overwhelm me, but, okay. Other than that, no
Are you
comments.
good? Okay. Verla?
I guess I don't have a lot to say. We'll go back over that. I like that you did say it wasn't a hard no, that it's still something that we're recommending, but we are recommending advisory board, because that was, there were reasons why there was a no, but I didn't know if there was more wiggle room, because I'm still new at this too, so.
Well, to me, we could probably do something in advertising, buy an advertising package and sponsor him in that way. And as a for-profit event, that might be a better way to do it,
Huh? Well, yeah, and that was discussed last year, that he's a profit company.
And it was
And he's
also
not-
that he's also at Lazy U where we're already putting a lot of efforts,
Yeah.
and so it feels like doubling up. I know I didn't talk with him about that because I really didn't know how you guys felt about it. I didn't want to speak on behalf of that, but I definitely think we could do some things to.
That's an issue we need to address, we're giving X amount to Lazy E and then we need other.
But I still think we could advertise at those other events. And the ones that want to come to us for money, we say, well, with your setup, maybe we, yeah, I mean, I don't want it to make
Because
a
then
rain
it would be
event,
more
but,
explained why we turned it down.
yeah,
Well, part of it is there's only 4 of us here, so.
yeah, yeah.
That
I
was-
thought, well, we could have tabled it till next
Yeah.
time and review, but,
Well, then
You know.
we're already in November.
yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
His events.
At the end of
last
November,
week.
yeah.
Okay, so anything for November's agenda that anyone needs to get on,
Yeah, this is the time.
other than the
to-
tabled items?
Well, I mean, do we wanna, we probably should think about if we're gonna do a territorial
Territorial
giveaways.
Christmas giveaway.
Giveaways for home show, or do like one big package.
For what? Home show?
The
For the
homes tour.
Tours.
Their tours.
You know, tickets to the organ concert,
On
whatever they've
Facebook.
got going. Yeah, probably social media to boost our social media.
Well, now, don't we can still do that in November though, can't we?
Right, this is, we're
Mhm.
putting it on the agenda.
Yeah, this is, it's a
Oh, yeah.
request for an
Oh, okay.
item for
I'm sorry,
November.
I'm sorry.
You asked me for items, I'm
Nope,
giving you
nope,
one.
nope, you're good.
We've got
You're
one thing
good.
to discuss next time.
I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, hey,
that's
just leave that
November.
one thing on there and the meeting will go quick.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the vice chairman,
Mm-hmm.
we've got hopefully a new budget to discuss next month.
Mhm.
We've got hopefully the Lazy East sponsorship contract
Package,
to
yeah.
finalize.
And then finalize the new schedules, the applications.
And hopefully the city council will
Yeah. I mean,
have approved it, and if they've got any changes, we can
mhm.
Go with it.
go with that.
Yeah, my
And
hope is to,
then-
between now and then, to reach out to the groups that have used it in the past and say, this is looking at changes, give some reasoning behind it, you know, yeah.
Well, I'm sure from what I've heard already, and this is a lot of it, this 89er group is, and from other people, I don't think until Leroy said it, a lot of people didn't understand that it costs money to support all this stuff in city services and everything else.
Mhm.
So asking them how much city services you need as part of putting on an event, I think is a critical question.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not to be mean, it's just a critical question.
Cost money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Cause they may bring in a lot of hotel motel tax, but yeah, you know, it's hard to determine whether that's,
so, anything else? I'm hungry, I'm ready to
yeah.
adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank